All right, so we're going to talk about measuring with the triple beam balance. So now before we actually start measuring, we want to make sure we highlight a few things on our triple beam balance. So here we have our tray where we'll place our object, and here we have our 3 beams, giving it the name of triple beam balance. And then we have our 3 riders, 1, 2, 3, that are real important for us while we're measuring. Each one has a different value. So in our middle one is going up by hundreds. So you can see it goes from 100, 200, 300, and so on. Our back one goes up by tens, and then our front one goes up by ones, but then all these little dashes are then going to be tenths of that. So that's why we get that 10th decimal place, that first digit right after our decimal. And also before we begin, we want to make sure that our balance is well balanced, so we can get accurate measurements. So if we look here, we can see that these 2 white lines are level with each other, which is what we're looking for. So now we know, okay, we're ready to begin measuring. So now let's say we're trying to find the mass here of this rock. I will set it on my tray. We notice this side goes up, as now this side has a lot more mass, so it's dropping, and then this side goes up as a result. We always start with our largest rider first, which is our middle one. We make sure that it locks into these grooves so we get that accurate measurement. And in this case, I moved to one spot, still above the 0. So I do it again, and we notice it drops. If this happens, you basically undo what your last movement was. In this case, bringing it back to the 100. What this tells me is our rock must have a measurement between 100 and 200. But we want to narrow that down because that's not very helpful. So we're going to move our second biggest, and that's going to be our tens. And we keep seeing that as I keep moving them again, making sure it's in the notch and staying up each of these times. We're getting closer, you can tell. And now when I get to the 70, it drops all the way. So now I'm going to go back to my previous move. So now we know it should be between 160 and 170. And now I use our front ones. This one doesn't have a notch, so it allows us for more precise measuring. All right, so now I got to go back a little bit. And now I'm pretty close here. I got to go back just a little bit more. Oop, I bumped it a little hard there. We'll let it balance out for us. And that's looking pretty good. I would call that probably then, so if we add all these up, I would call it about 166.4 grams. Because we have our 100, we have our 60, oh, kind of back here. And then here we go all the way to the 6. And then if you look at all the dashes, there's 4 of them, which would give us 166.4. And now we need our unit, right? So if we look, we see that there's this little g over here, which is going to tell us we're measuring in grams, which means we're going to have 166.4 grams for the mass of our rock.